I have a request.
You can watch it.
There's this picture
Or later.
of the clock
It's on.
from. It still has the overhang from the guy from Project 90, the,
Oh, does it?
yeah, in the
I
background.
thought you were gonna say I had like the wrong time or
That's what I
something.
thought. No,
Nope.
but what was the name?
Olivia just pulled those pictures
Yeah.
up, so.
What was
yeah,
the name of
we
that
Do an update.
business?
United
United.
Okay, you're all
Nuclear, yeah.
set.
It's probably 10 or 12
Oh,
years
we're
ago.
live. Ready to go. All right, well, call the meeting to order and get this rolling, 6 o'clock on the dot today. And it might be easier to do who's not here. I guess let's roll call everybody one at a time, starting here. So that everyone knows who everyone is, which I maybe already do, but we'll start here.
John Liskey,
Rosemary Ridsdale.
Jeff Giesman, Greg Hahn.
Can you go that fast?
I forgot I'm not taking minutes.
It's me over here.
Aaron Butner.
Dawn Gayapa. Amanda Khan. So that means Frank and Putnam.
I don't know if Mike's on the show plate.
Okay.
But the Brady, he's not here, he's probably.
We'll carry on to the next item, public comment. Gail?
So I submitted, the BPA had authorized some hours to use for the amphitheater shading. And I submitted some invoice information to Rosemary. We talked to him a lot over the time frame. He did come to meetings, there was phone calls. There was a lot of interaction. I do feel like we did take music in the park up a step this year. I feel like there was more people there. I felt like the food trucks, like he helped us with relationships on top of trying to help us, which was helpful. So I did send that over for her to authorize that check. And then I did reach out to Star Farm because I know you guys had talked about it. And I can send the voicemail, but they are not available that Saturday, but they are available other options in July. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that. So I didn't even get a price from them. But that Saturday, they're already booked. So.
And I'll confirm what she said. Our food trucks always before were iffy. I'm gonna say iffy if they wanted to come back, right? They didn't do great. This year, they were all, yeah, we will sign us up, get us, back here. So it was,
Perfect.
that was different from a food truck perspective than what we were saying.
And the ice cream truck too as well. So both trucks were happy for the first time. I felt like the attendance was better. I felt everything. I think we did make a step this year into.
That's awesome. I heard a lot of good things. I never made it to one because we're out of town so much, but tons of good stuff.
One ring.
And you went to 12 years?
Wait, you went to Twigs,
Right,
right?
yeah, I was-
I was
That's always
in Twigs
like that.
when they.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Anything
have to-
else?
Have to pay your bands no matter what. So it's better we get something.
Mhm. Yeah.
So.
Anybody else? Nope. Alrighty, on to the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I second.
Any comment? Good. Motion approved. Treasurer's report.
I do not have a treasurer's report, this month. But I do have 3 bills that I'm paying, the 2023 audit, $1,000. The information that Gail just spoke about, $500, which is in budget. And then also, our third of 4 checks to Boyd, all within budget. I don't think we need to. Have a motion.
But I do make a motion to accept the treasurer report.
As
Approve
absent.
as-
No, we don't have.
Yeah, that's right, perfect. Thank you.
All right, on to new business. So Star Farm, we don't have a lot of information about. Do you want it tabled? Do you want it removed?
Well, I just didn't know if you want me to check what options they have.
Do you all wanna
Like
hear-
Friday night, I mean, but I think we gotta figure out price.
While you're
So it's like,
scheduling.
maybe I investigate at least other date and get
Friday
an
night or
idea
something.
of money so that you guys would know. I
Do you
mean,
have any idea? 3,000?
if I was gonna guess, it's probably like 4, if it's a Saturday night.
But they're not available in July.
Yeah, no, they're not available that July.
Oh,
date.
okay.
So they said they had other dates in July they were available. You guys want me to investigate what those are and how much, I could give you that information. When I
I mean,
get
they
it.
bring a ton of people. If you
Yeah.
front loaded it at the beginning of the schedule like that, you might get more people coming out.
Like, that was fun.
It
Go
won't hurt
back.
to investigate it if you don't mind the
No, I don't,
time.
I enjoy doing this. So.
Okay, what do you think, everybody? Same?
I mean, are
Investigate.
we gonna thumbs up a $4,000 band?
We don't
Well,
know.
let's just see what it is.
We would just be telling her whether to keep going with the thought.
Well, I know, but if they said 4,000, then we gonna pay
Well,
it.
what if we partially sponsor it?
I think that's
This
an
could
option.
be
I think that's
also
a,
your fundraiser,
Right.
where you're gonna charge.
That's
beer
what I'm
tent, Charge
thinking.
money where it's gonna.
Right.
Like
pay
a
for it.
big.
I like
big
that.
event.
Beer, somebody say beer?
Yeah,
I would go
if
for
we could
beer.
kind of put all that together and it'd be one of our
Your
other thoughts. I
annual
think that's how it
fundraisers.
originally came up.
That
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah.
So I
that's what I thought the original plan.
I thought so
Yeah.
too. So I think that's worth
Yeah.
continuing to investigate it. And if you ever get to where you don't want to do that anymore, just
Yeah.
let one of us know.
You could make it like a VIP and you could maybe get a band to come a little earlier and you could have two and that might bring more of a crowd in.
I'd actually thought about bringing an earlier band and then have them at the end, you know, because if you're gonna drink, you're not gonna want somebody drinking for 2 hours. You're gonna want a little longer thing. So we could stack it up with us at the end, like a pre-show band where
Yeah.
people will come down and start drinking and then the big show. I'd already kind of thought that.
And I'm sure we know.
So,
We can get that sponsored.
so Friday night, we, talked to Bruce about coming and playing here, but he, Laingsburg was too big of a venue for him. So,
Hey,
Right?
We
we're
saw
gonna be
Bruce
nominated,
Springsteen.
whatever.
Yeah, right.
You couldn't close them, hey?
No, couldn't close him. We tried. No, he was, but it was, Laingsburg's too big, so. Mhm.
All right, so we'll keep moving on with that. Thank you, Gail. Number 2, newsletter.
Okay, so you all have a copy of it, but, this is the newsletter, which I got one, Olivia doing it before I have to do it, so I'm giving it to everybody because I think this is also something that, you can,
Part of our communication plan.
yes, and you guys, if you guys know anybody who wants to be on these committees and volunteer and do this kind of stuff for the fundraising, I think, you know, pass it out to them. It kind of gives, this one kind of really gives an idea of gives an idea of what the actual they're trying to do. I think this one kind of really hits some spots where the volunteering part and, you know, what's coming, you know, I just think it's a little bit, you know, just not what's going on, like. what we are
Want those
doing.
things in the windows,
Yeah, that's what we've been doing, is putting them in the windows and stuff,
because
but I
if you can
think,
hand some over here, you can talk to him.
No.
I don't think she has any extra right now.
There was one.
Some
each.
from
Yeah,
other people.
yeah, there's plenty.
Away.
So how we've done it for anybody new, how we've done these in the past is everybody gets like 2. Originally, we started with one person taking a whole pile and distributing them throughout town, and then we kind of decided it was a little bit easier for everybody to take 1 or 2, and then they are responsible for that place every year. Or every month, sorry. That seemed to get it out a little bit better. But being that this is part of the communication plan and also being kind of the gateway to what we're planning with these committees and how we've talked about people being interested in being on the DDA that don't necessarily live or own a business in the district, that we could maybe get them active on the, committees. This will evolve and change based on what activities we have going on, but this one specifically is really talking about what well, it's also kind of a guide. It's talking about what we as the DDA need to do to start forming committees, but it's also telling people we want to have you
It's
part
kind
of
of
that.
asking, you know, so it's kind of something like you're talking to somebody and you really want, you know, you think this person would volunteer or wants to volunteer, this would be a flyer to give them to like overview some of the things they're
So
gonna
somebody
do.
that doesn't want to come to every meeting and sit here and hash things out with us, but wants to do something active That's much, maybe less.
Like
uh,
one project.
Yeah,
One
so-
event.
that's what this particular, this issue of this newsletter is, has a lot of information about, where other newsletters were more about events. So. This though, did we get this last month or was it in the email? Like how, I saw this, but I don't remember how.
It's in your packet. So
But I know now, but I mean, did we see these this last month too, right?
not that exact one.
So I must have
Was-
saw it when we had a meeting, or
I
I'm not
feel,
sure.
I
how
feel the
saw
same
it.
way, like I've already seen. this.
Yeah, it was in my
too.
window, but
Yeah,
that's why
I think this was last month also, but I think it's still totally worth sharing.
Right.
If we
Because
could
it said
all
August
share
on
it
it,
with
so-
someone.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
I feel like I did too.
Well, they all kind of looked alike.
Okay,
Could be.
So the one thing on these that has to change is there's the date of today for the next meeting.
okay, so this would have been probably the same as the last.
Yeah.
This is another piece where the communication committee really really does have a role because of making sure that this is
Up to date.
in that, right, and then it's. The committees are made so that you're putting out what the DDA wants to put out, now what Kim thinks you guys want, and then to go through this and maybe find something. That they aren't necessarily, or that we aren't, this isn't necessarily what we want, but it's already been put out and printed. So,
We have a special seat for you.
Did you bring the beer?
I need a special parking place. I had to walk in far.
Welcome, Mike.
so I think we take the newsletter at this point and. Because we've already had this and handed this out, we know it's in some windows. If you know someone that might be interested in joining a committee, which we haven't even developed yet. If you could hand this to them and maybe collect their information. And we could move on from there and start maybe putting together at least like some names and emails or phone numbers. To start thinking about when we decide what committees we're gonna start with, whether it's what would. I feel like that might be getting deep for us today, but
We're getting there.
yeah, the baby stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, next item. Motion to approve chairs for committee. Okay, here we are, we're back. We're not getting rid of that
No, we're
topic.
not. Well,
So,
at least we get, because we have the meeting with her in October.
yep, we had a little bit of time.
Yep.
So remember when we talked about the plan and how we needed to create different committees to handle it, like break up the work and break up that the same people are doing stuff all at a time. We had a meeting last week, I think, and that seemed like the simplest task that we were somewhat prepared for to like tackle next was maybe starting to create some committees. And I asked the question, like, of course, there's these 4 committees, and I asked the question, like, what if we just do like 2 to start? Like, what if we know we have people that want to be part of some of these, and she suggested to while we're starting out, to like combine some of the committees.
Who's she?
Lead,
Yeah, from the Michigan,
yeah,
the
Lead.
Main Street.
from Main Street, which was a great idea because we're still so small and we still don't have any really ideas. So putting together, I think she suggested like promotion and economic
Yeah. So like,
and
yeah.
design and she had really great ideas. Well, what I was thinking while I was sitting in there was what we felt as the DDA, what do you want to create first? What do you want to create? Are we more interested in coming up with events and fundraising? Are we, like, I don't really remember where we were at with that, and why we thought that we could handle that. Off the bat.
I think the main one was the fundraising, because we
I
do
think
have
so,
to, we have,
too.
yes.
Because
the
we have to have
events.
fundraising. I think
It was
we-
like, what can we do? What events can we do?
Right.
And how can we support it? And then what can we do with those events and fundraise?
Right.
So
The revenue is what like the main
Yes.
thing, that was
Yep.
like the next step, is having something that brings in revenue.
So,
I'm just gonna, can I throw this out there? This is
Yeah.
Just me saying something. If you're gonna start doing fundraising and you're gonna start raising money, I would make sure your insurance policy is something that is in.
covers
place.
each thing like each event separately, that's a great
Because that,
suggestion.
if you're gonna be doing
Depending on
a
what it
beer
was.
tent or whatever you're
Yeah.
doing, we wanna make sure that,
Yep,
I'm just saying, that's just my part coming into
Yep.
this.
And
okay.
I think having,
That's a good point.
first voting in chairs.
Yeah.
Yes, I
That's the
think right
first thing
now,
we have to
if,
do.
if that's what we think we can handle first is, fundraising, am I saying? Like, was that the heading
For,
for like that?
fundraising?
Yeah,
it's just bringing in revenues, having
it's just-
events
think
to
it's
bring in
I thought it
revenue.
had like some kind of good heading, that sounded good, but where we.
I don't know, that whole package that's behind it is about fundraising, so it's fundraising.
Okay,
Basically.
so we need to think about a fundraising committee, and I won't put anybody on the spot because we have a little bit of time. We don't meet again until October to report progress. So if we have a quorum for September, we'll be okay. But I think it'd be important for each one of us to think about whether we would want to be on that committee, because you don't have to be a part of each committee that the DDA creates. You can just like, this is my thing, I definitely want to be part of that, and I know so-and-so who wants to be a part of it. Do we agree that that should be our first?
Start farm beer tent committee, I like that.
I feel like there's a lot of energy in
This
that.
is where the people that don't have the businesses and don't,
You could
can
bring,
be involved in the DDA
Yeah.
by doing this. I mean, I guess
they
they,
can be
you know,
part of the committee,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I don't even think
The
Yeah.
public and thing, because I know there's some people that are not part.
Oh, there's.
And they're
plenty.
like, oh, well, how do you get part of that? And
Yeah.
how do you, then why do they get to do
Yeah.
that? And I say,
they
you can
also
volunteer
chair
to
the
these
committee,
things,
too. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. a
be part of your
member.
community and do it.
We had to have at least one DDA member on each thing, I think was the one piece of that.
Yes,
We had to have
you
at
do.
least one.
Does the
Yes,
chair
but it
need
doesn't
be
have to
DDA?
chair.
No, couldn't you assign someone else as the chair that
Yes.
was not on the DDA?
Yes, anybody that wants to volunteer to be the chair can be the chair, but one person from TDA.
Has to attend, yep. So,
We're not gonna say right now, she said, but I would make sense for you since I.
So definitely part of this thing for sure, 100%, if that was something you were interested in, but absolutely.
Been doing Summerfest out of the DDA already for the last 2 years.
So is there anyone who absolutely knows they wouldn't want to be part of that committee? On the DDA? Okay, but think about it.
That's good.
Okay,
Nobody said no.
Right. So I think what might be best is that we spend some time until we get to the September meeting, see if we know, or we're already thinking of someone that is not on the DDA that might be a good addition to that.
And then if anybody decides that they want to chair something, just email me and we can start with that, and that can start the next meeting as far, okay, we have somebody interested in chairing. You know, because we do need to have at least two chairs for these. You know, promotion, organization, design, and economic. So, we need at least 2 chairs by October.
And this is just, remember, at this point, we're like, have this scorecard or report card or whatever, and we have to kind of keep going along and telling them the progress we're making. So this kind of was the next low hanging fruit to take care of. And it sounds fun, so.
Yeah.
Think about that, and then obviously don't be afraid to say not really my thing, because the next thing we'll have to do is create another one.
Yes.
For something else.
And if you need another match on Main, which I gave to you and Mike, because you didn't receive one. But if you need another one, because it explains what all of these different organizations are, and you know, what your responsibility would be as the chair. It's pretty simple. It sounds so much worse than it actually is. But if you need another copy of it, I can make another copy to look it over. If you're thinking of sharing it or volunteering or whatever.
Or you ask someone and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What am I gonna
Exactly.
do?
It's, yeah, once you read it, it's not as bad. It sounds way less than it sounds like when we're saying it.
Okay, anything else on that? Before we move on, okay, item number 4, sidewalk quote.
So that's
That
all the
would-
sidewalks that the
Back
DDA
to
wanted
that.
to do.
Mhm.
And it's kind of doing an update on that. We've had some issues with,
I have not been able to get in contact with those two. Several messages from the phone call back. I know they had 60-day quotes. I don't know if you guys would let me respond to the next bid or if you want me to leave it.
Let's circle back, there was Able,
There was Able, Horton, and Century.
And how
Able,
close is the
Fulton,
next one?
Central that we chose was 13,682 plus the 14, up to 14 for the post office. And Able was 18,552 plus the post office. And I don't have a quote for him for the post office.
So $5,000 difference.
Roughly.
He's not returning the call.
Central is, I want to message for you since.
and
the other two.
Fulton didn't turn his in with the post office, right? Or didn't have an alternate?
Nobody, the post office was added. We took out Grand River and Plum and added the post office up to 14,000.
Well, I mean,
Seems like somebody's eliminating themselves if they're not returning the
Yeah.
call.
Well, that was kind of my-
Yes.
Right, right. I don't, yeah, I don't have a problem.
maybe
I think we need the quote for the post office from the same.
kind of feel like it too, or we're not really.
They probably bid it.
Well, we
to them,
never,
they don't wanna
we
do
never
it.
got a quote to the post office. That's what I'm saying. You
Right,
guys
we were gonna-
approved up to whoever the contract
Yeah.
was we chose.
Yeah. Are we considering the post office too?
The post office is what you guys added. You took out Grand River and added the post office, not to exceed $14,000 in addition.
Okay. But we would be exceeding it if we selected the second one.
If they were over, we never got any physical quotes from anybody from the post office. That was just an addendum to what was.
Okay. So it seems to me that we need a physical quote on the post office as well.
I would agree.
Okay.
If you
That's
reach
what I-
back out to Holton,
Well, I'm gonna have to.
back out to
No,
Able.
Yeah, I'll have to do 2 different quotes, so.
Because you're changing the job, so you're feeling.
You
like
guys,
it's-
yeah, you're changing the job from what was approved to, so I will have to re-quote everything.
I feel like that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, you need an accurate, we can't hire them without an accurate.
That's,
post
no, I understand. I just know it's this
It's
late
a
in the
pain.
season, it probably won't get done until next spring at this point.
The post office job by itself would probably be too small. For most, yeah, right, so
That's
If
why
we-
we did
if
that.
we go, okay, well, we're just gonna go along with the second quote and do the job. And then in the spring, do the post office, it's probably gonna be too small for.
Correct. And
Yeah,
that's,
I-
and that's
feel
why
like-
they added it on to the first one. They dropped the Grand River and added that on not to exceed a certain amount.
But because at this point it's been so long and we're asking for this to be added, it makes more sense to go out and ask again. And are you gonna ask the first one Central again, so they're not
I
responding to
can't
the
even,
first?
no, I can't give them even return phone
Okay.
calls, so
So we may end up with 2
they're
again.
off my radar.
Okay. I think
Are
that's
we
the best way.
required to have 3
Unless you
Correct.
can't, right?
unless you?
Yes.
Right,
Well,
so I
okay,
think
but-
I would make the one more reach to them to
Offer them the
To offer
opportunity
them.
to,
yeah,
That one more reach because this morning. we
Have-
thought-
okay. well
Have
then-
they replied and they aren't replying to wanting to change it?
no, they're not replaying at all.
They
They
have not
haven't
returned
replied
the
at
call.
all, no, okay.
So might they just erase it?
So the company that's doing my driveway, it's asphalt. for pavement. We could consider them for when we're doing driveway bids. They said they've never bid.
Who is it?
Comco. They came in $5,000 less than my driveway bid.
Are they insured and licensed?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I run into.
Yeah, no,
There's a lot
they're-
of them out there that are not licensed and insured.
Yeah, they are. They're out of Mason.
Right, I believe that.
So when they do my driveway, I can try to get their contact
When's that gonna be?
this fall at some point.
Oh, he probably needs to
I
make
think
this
it
call
started
tomorrow.
this week,
But
so-
this was, he's talking about paving, he's talking about asphalt, not,
Yeah,
Oh,
but when are we doing those? I forget.
we didn't,
Oh, I thought you were talking about the cement work.
no, he was talking about
Oh.
just like paving primarily.
I'm
When,
talking about sidewalk. but-
he was saying, when the time
Okay.
came, can we add them, because they said they'd never seen an RFP or anything, so.
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah.
right. Okay. Number 5, pictures for homecoming at amphitheater.
So, this is an idea. And I thought it would be, because they talked about Main Street having a quick fundraiser, something that's quick and easy and you can return and make money off this. And this kind of would be something if we test the waters on what, making some money. But the idea is to decorate the amphitheater for homecoming. And then invite the kids to come down and want to get their pictures taken here. Instead of going out of town, because people go out of town, they get their pictures taken everywhere. Maybe, decorating the whole amphitheater in fall and having a local photographer come in, charge them whatever to get their pictures taken. And maybe it's just a quick little fundraiser for the DDA to do something that may work, it may take off and something we do every homecoming, but it seems silly to have people, homecoming here still. So, to have them going out of town, pictures here and pictures at people's houses and, I mean.
I think that's a great idea. I think it'd be a
And it
perfect
can't-
place. I
And we
mean,
get to use the amphitheater again.
yeah, right, right. Hmm.
So
It's
are
just
you
an
talking
idea.
about the members of the court or just individuals? with
I think
bands
Like
or-
anyone,
Any-
just putting it out there, like,
So
hey,
you
if
do
you
it
wanna
the
get
day
your
of
picture,
the game?
yes.
Yeah, have a time, put it out there, charge everybody picking up $5 to have their picture taken, and then whatever pictures they would buy from the photographer.
Right,
And I'm just,
yeah.
whether
like,
that's $10, $20, $100, I
Yeah.
don't know, but
But
charge
it's-
them a little
It's one
bit.
of those quick,
Yeah.
the Manchime meeting talked about, not having these big, always having these big, huge events for revenue, just doing some of these quick things that are just, it involves downtown, it brings people down here.
Bit of it would be
Idea.
weather dependent.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is true.
but the amphitheater's deep enough that you could probably, unless it's raining and wind blowing the wrong
Yeah,
direction.
it'd be
you
better
would
than
be-
standing outside of people's houses.
Right, yeah, exactly, exactly. But I think that's a great, you could decorate it with Laingsburg or whatever. and
Yep. That's an
I
idea.
think it's very good.
So, but it's very quick turnaround because it's next month, so.
Thoughts?
What would we need to
I know a photographer from the art walk that won that award, Sam. Schropp,
Oh, that's what I was
the
thinking
best
of too.
choice.
And
And
she's
she's
really
community
good at-
oriented.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of too.
Well, first things first, then, we would need to reach out to her, see if she's available, because she does do a ton.
Yeah.
Make sure she's available. Next thing would be who's gonna be there to help kind of man it, who's gonna decorate it, what are we getting? This is a committee thing.
Right.
Before the
What-
committee's
Yeah.
made.
when is home, when is September 20th?
Yes.
So
So-
we have something
Yeah.
going on the 13th. Do we have anything going on the 20th?
And it's kind of gonna
Okay.
take anyone out who has someone going to homecoming. They won't really, I mean, it's really gonna sort of debilitate them other than the pre-planning.
If you don't do it homecoming, you could do it because they do the homecoming dance on the 21st.
Right, but I'm,
So you
I'm
could
thinking the
have-
20th or the 21st doesn't matter, you're gonna do it on the 21st when everyone's dressed up, anyone who has someone going is gonna be unavailable.
Right.
So, that would be the
I
only,
would totally.
let's just do this
Do
really
anything.
quick, let's just do this really quick, say we can't put together a committee with enough people. Everyone looking at their calendar is there anyone who won't be around on the 20th, who cannot participate? on the 21st, the day of. Or anyone who 100% says I want to be part of it on the day of. Just thinking,
What's the date again?
the 21st.
So when we have your mom.
Oh,
I haven't put anything in there,
September.
so my wife just told me what to do the day before.
It's called calendar.
There's nothing in there, but that probably doesn't mean I have nothing.
Is there any way, because it is a great idea, that you could do it? Oh,
I mean,
and the reason why I say that is because for a homecoming, the actual day, you got all the people on the court and
Right.
everything else. And then, like you were saying, the day of the dance, a lot of people go to somebody's house, or they go here, they go there.
it's a busy day.
And then you could have it set up for there and do both, since you're putting the work in to decorate it and everything else.
Yeah.
To use both.
That's a good idea.
But another thing that I was wondering is, and I know everybody meets up at the school to line up. Is there any way they can line up right here on this road? And have the brand and just have the
So everyone's already
go
there.
down, and then they
Yeah.
just come
I mean, it
down
might
and
build
come
some
back, and then
excitement
back
too.
up through
Yeah.
town. I'm just throwing that out there.
Talk
I
to
mean-
Brandon and talk to Jay
Good idea.
Thomas.
That's a very good
Those are
idea.
the two that normally collaborate the parade.
Because that way you got it, you got other people coming that always, because they're scattered all over the place, trying to take pictures and everything else. You can't stop, well, I don't know, parents taking a picture when they're up there, but at least.
No,
you
that's
have
the other,
professional.
those are those other little
Yeah.
pieces of
Yeah.
details you'd have to kind of figure out how it works out and. Do you have, is it just $5 to?
Right.
How do you
To have
front end
professionally
this?
done,
How do you
the
kind of
picture-
front end it in the beginning to make sure that,
It's actually a
Someone's getting
fundraiser,
paid.
like, right, well,
Right.
yeah. And
You know-
that you pay for all your decorations, all your
Oh,
overhead for
Yeah,
it.
the
Yeah.
idea would
Or
be
do you
to
do it by
make all
donation?
these-
Be like $5
I
recommended.
love the donation idea, I'm a
Because some
big
people
fan
will
of
be like,
that.
yeah, you're.
Yeah.
I know
It
there's
works it out.
Well, I like
So-
it too, because there's plenty of people who can't, there's plenty of people who can, and they'll usually over.
Mhm.
And if you're putting your kid up on the stage to have a picture taken, you're pretty committed to donate. It's not like passing a hat. Right, you know what I mean? It's, passing the hat is just, we all see it. So many people pass. But you know what I mean? This
Yeah.
maybe puts it in a little bit different perspective, but I think backing up and thinking about this is, do we think we can do it? Cause it would be the DDA's baby, it'd be our first fundraiser. Do we have people to? So number one would be, can we get a photographer? So let's say she says yes.
Already at the parade.
The next question would be. When we're gonna sit down and figure out how we want it to, how we wanna decorate it, how we wanna market it. Like, I'm thinking there's probably a big chance that we'll need another meeting.
And I can
Does,
just help.
I should know this, sorry, Kim.
No, go ahead.
Do we have a wolf costume?
That's what I was thinking.
There was like 3 years ago.
I mean, get down there.
Yeah. So here's
Yes.
another thought. Is there any other brilliant
Donate
ideas
money to
anyone
the
has?
costume.
We borrow
I
moms.
think-
I feel like we could borrow some moms from someone, because we're only gonna use them for a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of days, and that would keep our expenses down.
Now we're to a point in this conversation that feels very committee-like. Like we need to decide if we're gonna do it. And we're gonna just form a unofficial committee.
Right.
to
It
get
feels
it
like
done,
Mike
and I can
Putnam's
help all
like
the way up
leading the
until
way in
then.
this conversation already.
Decorate it.
This is a special event.
He didn't even know it, but he is.
Yeah.
So
I just throw things out.
Really good ideas though, Mike.
I think that this is like your first piece of really exciting thing to put together and call your own. But I think that everyone has really great ideas. And we almost really we need to have the meeting just for that.
Yeah.
So we have some ideas, photographer, we have an idea in mind, moms, we have thought, okay, a wolf costume, we have another. Okay, so if you shouted out an idea and you wanna be part of it, you need to come up with a day and time to meet back up, bringing that information together, maybe having it sort of locked down, the lineup. So if everyone could be in charge of, like, I could get a hold of Jabe and Brandon about moving line up to down here. Do we need any approval from anyone at the city to have all this happening?
I can put it on the council meeting to,
Just
To
run it
approve
by
it.
and make sure that's good. Okay.
shut this.
So there's that.
Just be a different,
like, what kind of faster, what kind of things we can peck off, so if we met again, we don't like have to meet here, right? We can meet at the bar.
Meet anywhere you want.
So,
Meet over at the
That
park,
sounds like
bring
a
your own
great
cooler.
Hey, I would,
Okay.
I would help decorate if Aaron volunteers. I mean, that would, I mean, that would be.
I like that.
it, I like it.
So, I mean,
Motion to.
I could-
Okay, I would be okay with Aaron being there, but I don't think I want him decorating.
It'd be Michigan.
That's right, yeah.
So do we wanna
We have a lot
run
of
with this idea? Does it sound
Well, it
like
doesn't hurt to run with it, and if you. get
we may have a
stuff
little
in time,
investment?
Just put in, and if we can't pull it off, you fall
Can
back to
we-
the old way.
what
It
are
says
our-
Close.
Right, and what should we set like a budget? Because if we're not gonna meet again until after homecoming,
Yeah.
this is sort of, and the committee can't act on that.
Right.
So the DDA needs to set aside funds of
I-
spendings. So if,
I make a motion that we set aside $200 for decorations
what is,
for this.
there's a motion of support, and then we can discuss.
Let me just say, is it enough?
Well, okay,
I can do a lot for $200.
so,
Okay.
Ritzel,
All right.
if she
If we
supports,
want to do more, I don't care.
then we can
Sorry.
discuss
I'll
all we
support
want,
it.
and
I'll
then
Make
support
enough
it.
money on the
Okay.
budget right now.
So discussion on $200. Do we think $200 is enough? The giant
Did you
mums.
have an amount in mind when you had this idea?
No.
Okay.
The giant mums we
You
think
know, I
we're gonna
just
be
wanna
able to
be
borrow
Okay.
from people.
Yeah.
Like, when if?
But what if we
My
can't?
wife's gonna have a
They
million.
just sell, they
We
just
get
sell
some
strawberries.
Yeah, Jen, we're supposed to.
I
do
don't
this.
remember.
Yeah, my
delivery.
daughter sold like 100 of them.
When do they come
We're
to
still, in
God, I don't know.
September, like 7th or something.
Middle of September.
So too
I'll-
So if
early.
they do, then we can get, cause I ordered 3.
I ordered me
I've got
too.
3.
I got 3 or 4 coming.
Right.
So
Okay.
right there, we.
The spirit is
Mums are-
So, are we comfortable with 200? And remember, you won't have a meeting to get more.
Right, I feel like I feel like we need.
Go over,
Well,
Just because we approve
overshoot.
more
right,
doesn't mean we have to use it.
right, I think that targeting for 200 is good. The fact that we don't have a meeting in between, and if it ends up that it's 250, or we don't get this great thing, I think that we should consider more.
I vote
Amend your
no
motion.
on my motion.
Yeah, you can amend your motion.
Okay, well, let's-
Much faster.
Make it September
$400.
13th.
Okay,
13th.
A 13. Okay, so there'll be mums in the neighborhood to maybe possibly get people to.
I'll
borrow
second
from.
his motion at 400.
Okay, so we have $400. I guess, Rosemary, this is a good question for you. If we have this committee meeting and we decide what we're doing, do we submit receipts to you? Because I've never done
Yeah,
that part
it's
of it.
receipts would be submitted.
Okay, so if we have a meeting and you're in charge of something, you have a great idea that you purchase on your own.
You can either leave them at the city and they send them to me, or you can email them to me, either way, or actually our new treasurer.
Is there any other questions that we need to think about before we meet with no authority? Except for $400. Except
So-
for $400.
Our city council meeting would be. Next one would be
Next.
the 9th. So we would need to have the routes and anything we would need to approve by that.
Oh, anything else? aside
Anything
from-
else that the city would have, I mean, I can't think of anything other than closing the streets for the,
So if I'm reaching out before we have this meeting, a committee meeting or whatever, I am asking them to line up where exactly?
McClintock Street.
No.
Like-
Normally the route is they start at the school and they come
Elementary.
down Crom.
Yep.
And then they go up Grand River
Yes.
and then it ends at Sage.
So
That's
I,
normally like the route.
I'm asking if we change it up so that we bring them closer to here.
So you want to end here?
You,
I think end.
Yeah.
Because the beginning would
Which
be,
might be.
people are gonna be in a hurry, getting all lined up.
I
You
think
want it
the
at the
re-
beginning,
Yeah. 'cause
Yes,
at the end they have
because
to
the
get out.
traffic, yeah,
because
they end at the
at
high
the end,
school.
like they're saying, everybody's in a hurry to get out to the game.
Yep.
To get out.
Oh,
the
As a
yeah,
sun,
parent,
somebody
I
not here.
always took
That
pictures
was there.
before
Yeah.
the event, but
So
while
if
we're
you
waiting to
started
line
it
up.
here, and you have your band and everything down, and then they can go up, take the pictures, get in their cars, and then go straight down to the end, left, back over to Crum.
What about if they went
And then
that
back
way and
around.
went to the elementary school and then
You can
follow
start it
the
at
same?
the other end, it's just a long walk, I mean.
That's the downside.
Where,
is
where
you
do
have
they
a
start
lot of
now?
walkers.
Yeah, I know you've said it a couple.
And you're gonna-
Elementary school.
Elementary.
Well,
school.
and they're trying to get to that direction as well,
Right.
which I think is probably why it's ending at.
Say,
So could we have them lining up here, heading that way, then coming down Crum?
Yep.
Mhm.
That's what I was.
Go down
Come out
Doyle,
right there
Doyle,
by
Doyle, Doyle
Bunnets.
to Crum back up.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
and you
Doyle
have
down
all
at
this
the end?
parking
Doyle?
here
Like it's
for the
straight,
cars, for
Yeah.
the
turns into
lineup.
lane,
That's
and
what-
lane
Yep.
from.
And the post office will be closed at that time, so there's parking there as far as like parents and pedestrians and whatever that.
Yeah,
Hang out.
see that Crum Street. Yeah, I mean,
Wanna try to
you got
utilize
that, right, like the
it.
bus usually drops off the band, I think. Don't they?
The bus
Or
takes
that
the band over,
So
but
they
then
could
you've
just drop
got,
them off here.
you have tons of
Or the post
pedestrians,
office.
bands, football. I mean, you end up with a ton of people and there's plenty of space. I just wanna make sure when I ask them if that would be something they'd consider, that we know exactly what we're asking.
Yeah, cause I was thinking the bus could park in the post office parking lot and drop all them off. And then they just go right up to the IGA, don't they, to pick them up? Or do
They go-
are they all on their own?
Cause then,
They end at the high school, right? So then
But the
they
band-
drop off the
Stage.
floats at
but the
stage.
band picks
So
up.
when
Oh,
everyone else
the
goes
church.
to the high school. I think all the floats and things end at
Oh,
stage, or not floats, the walkers and like the
Okay,
football teams and stuff, and there, the rest of the high school floats,
How long is it? for
not long.
I mean,
No
I'm-
more than maybe a half hour.
It's not even
No,
that
no,
long.
Probably
no.
not.
I'm worried about getting people lined up. Do we have enough room out there?
If
Get
you
them lined
use
up.
to high and come back this way, you probably might be able to go that way, it would be a better lineup, except for the bus. Cause the bus bringing the band students, they're gonna have to come in probably a little closer.
They
Cause
just,
they'll pick up, they'll meet them back at the church, is where they normally meet them at.
Yeah, so pick them back
I'm
up.
trying to
Oh, yeah.
remember, I'm trying to
That's
remember
sure.
as our,
I'm gonna follow your lead. I think this is for a committee to discuss.
well, and I think that the.
I'm just
police
thinking
with
you
the
have to
traffic
have that
flow, I mean, they're
answer
gonna be the
first.
ones that-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I.
And then a committee.
What he thinks about doing
Yeah.
that.
How about this? We reach out to Gabe and Brandon, ask their thoughts. This is our thought. Do you think there'll be enough room? Whatever. If they say no, we can the Friday idea altogether.
Yeah.
And then we move forward with the committee for the Saturday idea. Anybody have an issue with that?
Not at all. It's a good idea.
Okay, so we need an answer from them and then we'll kind of know. All right, so when does this committee want to meet?
As soon as you get the answer from.
I would say, I kind of feel like right after the holiday
yeah, for Labor Day, you're gonna have to.
and like
That's about the right
evening,
time.
drinks on.
I got water, got a lot of iron in it, don't worry about it.
So,
You
Uh,
you're signing up for it now.
Aaron, you're gonna wear the Wolfie costume, right?
No, 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 no. I will give a donation if Mike wears it.
You're gonna give a donation anyway.
is there anyone? So let's just say right now the committee's the TDA, for sure. And then we invite whomever, everyone else that wants to be part of it, but what I'm thinking is that is the morning work, because we're DDA. So like, does would a morning meeting work? Because we're on the, like, do we all have the ability to?
I
do
do
a
not.
morning? Okay, so that's an out. So evening. So we're on to the evening, because Rosemary, you wanna
But
be,
we don't-
you wanna be part of it. And so
I am, I don't mind being a part of the committee. I'm happy to be part of the committee. I'm not in town that weekend.
So- Okay, which is fine. I'm
Yeah.
talking about just meeting to put this together after Labor Day. Was
Yeah.
asking if morning would work considering. kind of
I
all
am-
drivers.
I am unable to do a morning,
Okay, so we're on to
But
the
don't-
evening.
but if you have enough people who are good for morning. then-
No, I think we should all be part of the
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, gotcha.
And then you can figure it out from there. Then you can create your whatever.
Well, the purpose of creating committees, so we don't.
We don't have a committee created. This is
Why?
like a not official committee, but you're gonna learn after this crash course, whether you wanna do this in the future. Remember, we're not creating a committee till maybe the next meeting. So right now, if everyone
Then
wants,
might as well do it right now,
but I don't
as
think,
opposed to having a separate meeting.
but I don't think
We don't
we've
have the
actually like
answers.
advertised
What?
it.
We don't have the answers.
Yeah.
We can
we'll get
still
to
figure out everything else.
Here's my
Well,
thought.
I'd rather do that than come to another. meeting.
The only thing is,
Oh,
what they were
yeah.
saying is we gotta we gotta check first, we can put all the extra time, but if we don't find out with Gabe and Brandon. If they're willing to do it, we're just wasting, so why don't we?
Well, what do
see
we,
if
what,
can-
what,
what
what
if-
difference does starting the parade out here, or starting at the elementary school? What difference does it make?
Don't know because it's the school's
Yeah.
parade. I'm not
No, no,
sure.
no.
Oh, what
So my que-
difference does it
What
make to
difference
our
does
day?
it make?
Well, I don't know what difference it makes if we set here right now as a DDA, pick a date to meet. And then we tell everyone what day we're meeting. That is not on the DDA. Right now, I'm just thinking, we're gonna sit here with a dozen people and try to find a date.
No,
So what I've said, morning is this, can everyone meet in the morning?
So I suggested we continue this and just get it done. You guys said, no, we don't have answers. My
Oh,
question
oh.
is, what does the answer is,
I
whether
don't
this
know,
starts
because
out
I'm
here?
pretty sure when we create a committee, we have to invite public, like we're all just sitting here right now
No,
without
you don't.
really.
You don't have to, the committee can be wherever we want.
Well, here's my thought. I can think of a lot of people that might want to be part of the committee that aren't here tonight. And I haven't had an opportunity to ask, and that is our right as members. So all that I'm saying is you want to I feel like this is gonna be an unofficial committee. Anyone out here want to be part? But what we have to do first, before we can, I think, go that far, is when are we gonna meet? Because this particular thing is more urgent with lots of thoughts and maybe moving parts. So if everyone here wants to come and you want to bring people to whatever date and time we decide, that's fabulous. And then I think we go with our original plan, which is to think about if everyone even wants to be part of a committee, of this committee,
Yeah.
before we come back to the next.
So if everybody in the DDA, do we not have to post that?
And now we're in a quorum. So that was my next
Yeah,
question.
we have to post it and
It's
put it out.
how we do that.
So if we have more than 4 people, we have to do that.
Yeah, there's 4 people that show
Yeah.
up. That
So-
would be
So we're in a special meeting.
Explain that again.
If you have a quorum of DDA members meeting on like official business, it's considered a meeting. So it
Like,
needs
we have to
minutes,
post
it needs
it.
to be posted as a special meeting, like that was my next thought.
It's not just the DDA, it's everything, I mean, city council and.
Or,
planning,
I'm just
et cetera.
saying, it's anything that's subject to Open Meetings Act. I'm super well aware, which is our next issue. So here I'm thinking, like, I would be willing to back off. I would be willing to not come to that meeting so that there isn't a quorum and it doesn't have to be such a strict situation, or do you want it at a meeting sitting here with a meeting notice?
Well, how many people would be willing that are sitting on the DDA that want to be involved in this?
This event?
Yeah.
I don't,
So,
but I'd help if. there was
yeah, I'd
no-
help.
So,
But do you wanna be involved and you wanna go and you wanna have this meeting? We just have to make sure that the people that are here, if there's more than 4, which now we have
Yeah, tons.
95 now. That you actually.
I'm just curious who's gonna design it. Cause like, I don't
The
have any
decor,
skills.
well, you're gonna talk about that in your meeting.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do legwork, but I don't have to be part of coming to a
So if-
meeting and that I can give them
Do
assignments.
you wanna
outside.
be involved in, like help plan it?
I don't have to. I mean, I'm willing to take assignments as well.
So,
That's kind
Dawn,
of me too. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Like, I'll go to the meeting, see what we need. And then I'll help.
well, as long
with
as we
whatever.
only have, cause I'm not part of the TDA, so I can
Yeah.
be there. I don't know, Gail, do you wanna?
I
involve
would be
it?
open to do. Go,
I don't think I wanna see Mike on a ladder.
But we can be
Or- or by
bodies
two.
helping, like, we could be
Yes.
bodies
Yeah,
helping
well,
decorate,
yeah,
whatever, but as
like-
far as
So
who,
far,
right now, we're just
I
talking.
won't be here. I'm not gonna be here either, but I will help up until that.
But we're back to the whole thought process is when we're gonna have a meeting.
Right.
So Gail. Anyone other than Gail sitting out here that thinks this sounds like fun?
I'm open to, I'm open to.
I'm open.
That's,
said-
you're saying, you're doing this, you're just saying you're open.
Is there any days that don't work the week after Labor Day?
Just talking about a date and time.
I should be fine. I'm fine.
We're just talking about a date. and
The only
time.
day would be, Friday.
We're not gonna call it a
Saturday.
meeting.
So
Call it a
I'm
get
out.
together.
As soon as you
Yeah.
have four of you though, sitting down, talking about making action, that's the issue.
Yeah, the day after Labor Day,
City after
Tuesday.
three, Give enough time to get the information from the school, just meet over at the amphitheaters, and that way you kind of get an idea.
That's a good
of
idea.
What you wanna do,
So
where you wanna
that's-
go, have somebody who can draw.
Tuesday, September 3rd, 6 o'clock.
Easy, peasy.
Is that our meeting?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Do you want to be part of this
No,
committee?
Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah, golf.
Golf?
Can't golf.
Do you want to be part of that meeting?
No,
No, he says no.
You go.
Okay, doesn't want to be part of the meeting. So we're looking at
not very
Tuesday,
well, I mean.
September 3rd, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I'll be a little
Huh?
late.
6:30.
Are we doing?
Well, I mean,
here?
I can be, I mean, I just.
Did
closed
she
it
say
today.
December?
I think the park might,
At the
is what they talked about. And you're gonna be here, so if it's pouring rain, they can come in here and figure this out. Okay. September
yeah,
3rd
can get 'em.
at 6:30 PM.
So who from the DDA proper is planning on doing?
Dawn,
I'll be here. I'll go.
Aaron,
Monday,
Mike,
I like you.
So
Sounds
so we need to know for sure,
Oh,
because we can't have,
yep. So you got Dawn,
Sure.
You gonna
Bob,
text
Nick?
me? All right.
yeah,
If somebody texts me, I'll be here.
Yeah, it's good to go.
Mike.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So we're gonna call you a yes,
Maybe.
because you don't have to be here,
I know.
but we can't have.
It's a get together.
Well, I only
Just come
see
down
two
once a year.
there on the board, so.
Okay,
so we're good.
Dawn, Nick, Mike, 6:30 on September
6:30. I say
6:30.
we can do 6:15, I mean, it doesn't take me much to close, I close right at 6.
Dawn closes at
Okay.
6, so that's why she's.
Or the
minutes
minutes.
I'm sorry.
We have enough
Right,
people on the-
yeah, so like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
For the next meeting.
Yeah.
15.
6:15.
And if not, if
6:15.
it's raining. we'll-
6:15 at the park unless it's raining.
Oh,
It'll-
God, I'm sorry, I can't do it. My wife's having surgery that day.
Your Nick's out. Anybody want on?
Do you wanna do, should we do a different day?
Okay.
Wednesday.
Wednesday's fine with me,
Kim,
Wednesday's good,
Wednesday,
well, let me do.
Wednesday, September 4th.
Well, that day too.
Okay, well, that made no, that has made no sense.
I'd rather do it.
That's why you did, your calendar was
Back
there.
to Tuesday.
6:15.
Tuesday.
Okay, so no, yes, Dawn, possibly
I'll be
yes,
there.
Kim will be there. Any other representation from the DDA? Okay. And everyone here, so if you know somebody you wanna bring,
I'll put it in my
Bring them.
minutes for CA, so I have a while.
As long as long as they're not in the city council. Because it's not just because of the DDA, it doesn't mean.
okay, we're good. We only have Dawn and possibly Mike. So we're good.
How did this turn out like this? Okay. Got it.
I wasn't trying to avoid it.
So she said she's out until when, like a day or
It's open to the photographer.
Okay, cool.
So.
So then should she come too?
If she goes to there, it's higher.
So $400, you got a meeting,
Did we vote on $400?
yes, I believe so.
We
We have a motion,
didn't
of
vote.
support,
We have a
it's
motion.
still our
A second.
discussion.
We
This is
didn't-
discussion, we had discussion, now
Still
we
our
need to vote.
discussion.
And do we have the same? Yeah, I'm sorry, didn't.
Oh, you're
Do we
good.
have the same requirements of doing a roll call vote for them
Yes.
in the DDA? Yes.
All right, let's roll it. Starting here. Putnam,
Yes.
Yes.
Ridsdale, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Yes. All in favor,
Probably.
$400.
Yeah.
Hopefully less.
All right, that's one's done.
good idea, Kim. Very nice idea.
Okay. Motion to approve new treasurer, item number 6.
Oh. Or Rosemary's been hanging on and no one's jumping up and down for the treasurer position, but she does not want to do treasury, so we're looking for somebody to take over the treasury position. Rosemary can tell you how hard it is, how difficult it is, how not hard it is, how much time consuming it is. I think it's gotten a little bit easier.
Yeah,
way
I think
they're
I
doing-
think I have a system and we have a system, you know, between treasurer and the city. It's usually no more than a half dozen checks per month. And it's maintaining the budget versus the spend and the running total and our categories of spend. And also at budget time, which we've just gone through that cycle, is to make the recommendation for what the next budget is, just based on historical information, but it's really a decision by the group. Just to prepare that. Also, there's audit time where some of the documentation needs to be provided to the city. For audit.
So this really should say volunteers. Anybody think that way? And Rosemary is gonna stay on, she just doesn't, that, you don't still want that
Not
title.
continuing as treasurer, right? I will stay on.
Who's on the DDA that's missing? Mark? Is that it? Because,
Yes, this is it.
Well, Richard Dar's still on.
I think he's
She's
dropped.
off now, so.
I thought he was staying on.
Can we think about this
No.
and then table that to next month?
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it-
just trying to get it.
Rosemary.
going Rosemary, 'cause
Yeah, I don't think you should be looking over there. I think you need to be looking here.
Well, I didn't know
Yeah.
if
There's
you've
no
already discussed
requirement
the
to change.
time period.
no requirement to change. It says she wants.
I
it.
understand.
Right,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
know what-
it
so I
was
know what
my
changes.
requirement to change and I did
Yes.
re-up last month, but I really
We
thought
knew
that
you
we
didn't
would,
want to.
right.
Well, now we have some new people that maybe would consider it. Is there any time to figure it out?
It's complicated. I've watched these meetings and
Well, the good thing is that Rosemary has it on Excel and
It's an Excel.
yeah,
with
and it's
Formulas all
something
written
that-
already.
It's just punching in those numbers and writing the checks and. Which, you know, like she said. it's not like
It's fine.
it's adding and subtracting. It's not like-
the thing that confuses me, just as an observer, is a different fiscal year of DDA compared to the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my mind.
everything.
I was gonna say you're not selling it.
It's, but at least I have a good excuse of why it scares me.
Yeah. But we have Rosemary will help you. I'm sure she's not gonna just go, here you go, screw it up.
Oh, Rosemary's a little bit better than the last.
Straws.
I just think you do what you said, table it till next meeting, let everybody a chance to think.
Someone has to grab it.
You put up like high school students. to
Yeah, no.
Learn how to do spreadsheets and stuff.
All right. I don't think we're gonna make any progress there, so we'll
Sorry, but it's gotta be one of you five.
move
Just
that.
saying, it's gotta be one of you five. I'm not gonna be on long enough to do it. So,
Gail would be really good at it
That's my.
Oh, yeah.
in November.
Yeah, that's right.
Rosemary just says, hang on till November.
Let me just be clear, I will not be doing a treasurer report for the next meeting.
So she's answers.
I'm,
Gotcha. I'm just messing with
Yeah.
you.
to be clear,
You're gonna do this month's though, right?
no,
Oh, you're not
That's her last one. She's saying,
That's it.
No, I've completed these
Set it
checks. These are the last that I'm
Final
writing,
assignment.
and I've already completed my last treasurer report. So just for clarity.
Anyone want to be the interim treasurer?
Even that is, you gotta get resolutions.
Oh, yeah.
Bank signatures.
Yes.
But I'm feeling like we're gonna have nothing if we don't come up with. stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm.
So, okay, well, we'll table that and wait for someone to step forward next month.
So
What
is
about
there,
you? Could
is
you
there,
be,
Kim, can you look, is there an option
I think she's
to
gonna
not have a
everything.
treasurer and have
I would
Danielle
have
do
to-
it as
yeah.
part of her duties?
But I'm not,
I don't
Really
think so,
sure
it's
that I
in the
can-
bylaws that they.
I'm
it
not-
has to
Yeah,
be-
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay, and that's what I was asking.
yeah,
I'm gonna just.
it's the same thing with the
Just-
secretary.
Right.
because
That would be the.
Yeah,
was
you
how
would-
they
and I'm
did
not, I'm not saying she would have to come to
She
these
would be-
meetings,
Yes,
No,
she would be.
but
no,
if
but
it's in
yeah,
bylaws.
second,
yeah. Yeah.
Looking for.
and I'm not familiar with that, like who signs, I don't know that much about how the city has all of that set up, and I don't pretend to know, I stay right out of that. But, if I chair, then I can't be treasurer.
No.
no, but you would be the secretary.
Yes, which is why you can't be both,
No,
right?
that's, I said, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
she will be
takes
the other
two.
secretary.
but right now I'm nothing,
Right.
so that's what I'm saying.
You would just take a motion and you can be in different.
I kind of have my hands full too, so I would do it, if we were at a point where we were in trouble. Then someone else would have to, do it. So. Or
30 days.
Mark. Okay, so item number 7, if we haven't beat this one enough, is fundraising.
So I put in you guys' packet, the actual thing that took out of the Main Street stuff, and it really kind of explains. The DDA's fundraising and how to look at it, so if you look at it, read it, I kind of think it. Gives you, some steps on how to start fundraising and. I know it's a lot of.
And 20 ways on how to fail.
Yeah.
Do you go to meetings for this, man, for the main?
They're online.
Yeah,
It's just all online? You just zoom in or you go to them?
we
physically?
have Zoom in meetings too, Olivia did a lot of this before, so. I'm kind of catching up because I was doing it and then Olivia,
Okay.
and then she kind of.
I mean, cause that would be an interesting meeting to go to.
I think too,
Like it would help me think outside the box.
and it's nice,
Because I'm having.
and there isn't that much brainstorm thing that goes on, but it's really like. Nice to have somebody tell you, this is what you've done, and this is what I've seen other people do next.
Right.
And then you feel like,
Come
okay,
in anytime
yeah,
and talk to everyone.
I'd be down for that. for
I think
sure.
she was planning on possibly coming in after. October.
Yeah, I think so, so then we have enough new people that I think it's worth it to have it come in and. Kind of explain the whole Main Street thing, because it's.
It's a
It
lot.
is a lot.
It's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yep.
and if anyone is hearing about this and again, it's super overwhelming, we had a really hard time grasping it. in the
Okay.
beginning.
Well, that makes me feel better.
For
I'm
us
just
to
gonna-
get your question. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this, and people won't like me for saying it. The DDA has never fully embraced
Is never what.
it, fully embraced it.
What the
What
main,
Main
What
Street,
the Main Street, yeah.
Oh, I
what-
think
what
that's
Main
Street.
Street actually is and does and.
right, whether we didn't understand it, whether thought it was we weren't big enough to do it. The DDA has never
Grasped it.
grasped, it,
Okay.
never said, yes, we want to grab the bull by the horns and ride it all the way through, right? It hasn't happened. Not saying it
Yeah, I
won't.
feel like this is the most energy we've had.
Yes.
About something.
I
and
think it's
trying to
exciting.
figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean, truly exciting, and
There are
I
a
don't,
lot
but I
of
don't
really good
understand a lot
things.
of things that they can do, or we can do.
yeah. And there's a lot of opportunities too with
Yeah.
Main Street.
And I'm not
It's where-
disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we've
Yeah.
never
Yeah, it's
really,
Not everybody's been like either understood it or.
yes,
Like completely got on board with it.
yes.
But it is proven to get you more involved. It gets DDA doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Although
And
as a board, we did vote to move
Yeah.
forward. I mean, we.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
And
But-
knowing
And
what we
we
were,
had a
But there
lot
are-
of questions in the beginning.
Yeah.
It was very foreign. I know I had a lot of questions.
me too, I didn't really.
But I
exactly
think it's
understand.
a good thing to do. I know that I had questions in the beginning.
I'm only saying that just because also, I mean, it's the downtown. That's what the main street's about, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just, yeah,
Just like it, cause yeah,
that's what.
it would
your
help
focus-
open, change for me in my brain.
Yeah.
Getting creative,
Yeah.
again, once again.
So, yeah,
Okay,
That's just an information piece.
so we're all gonna try to look that over, and maybe especially if you're planning on attending the meeting. Emery?
So I want to jump in on here before we talk about that. So we either need to change this application, or we need to start letting other people in that are not in the Downtown Development Association area. Because right here it says, this is a non-paid commission that meets once a month. A minimum of 50% of the members must consist of commissioners that own or manage commercial property in the downtown area, and one member who lives within the DDA district. That tells me that half the members need to own businesses or live in the DDA, but the other half do not have to. And we've rejected people because they don't live in or work in the downtown area. And this is, so we either need to change this or we need to let other people.
I think we have to change this to match the bylaws. then.
Yeah. 'Cause you
We
guys already
think
did
that came from, so the bylaws to me say the same thing as that. Where are you reading from?
This application,
The
that there-
application.
so there was a
So
meeting,
the bylaws say a majority of the people need to have businesses in the downtown development area. Whatever, right? That's what now, I define majority as half. Same thing as what that says.
was there not a meeting?
I was not part of. the
Neither was I,
meeting.
so that's why I'm asking the question, there was a meeting that discussed. What, first of all, there was a question about what was, what was acceptable.
Mhm.
And we sat in on a meeting that everyone was invited to, and they said in the Main Street program that. She said specifically, what the state mandated for this program, right? And it wasn't crystal clear, but she had suggested with this program that we not have any. That we're not living, owning, whatever,
Right,
in
yeah,
the district.
which is fine. if
So
that's
there's
what-
that,
But that's not what this says.
but I don't know what the discussion was, once
It's very.
we went back into that, and then. You guys looked over applications, I wasn't here then, so I can't speak to that, I'm just directing a
wasn't
crazy
there either.
train. So,
Discussion.
so,
I mean, I think the idea is if, we do that, and then you have half the board that is not a business owner, and then you have 12, because you can have up to 12 people. You have 12, 6 of them are not, owners or, invested, have something, then somebody who does want to come on, you can't take them.
So
So
it's-
that's, I mean,
I'm sorry,
you're.
say that again, I didn't get it.
So like, say you have 12 members, 6 of
Yep.
them are non-business owners, don't
Yeah.
live in the city, or
Yeah.
whatever their
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is.
Yeah,
And
don't
you have
fit that
somebody
criteria.
who actually is a business owner and wants to be on the board,
Mhm.
they can. Because it's filled.
But
so
that's no
it's-
different than if you have 12 people that are all business owners and the 13th person comes along and can't get on, there's just not a spot.
Right,
And
but
that's done.
I think that's what they were kind of, like, when you change those bylaws, you're opening up to that kind of situation, and you also don't want to end up with, like 9 people that, when you can't find a business, or I don't know, that's just what I kind of took, well, it's a very,
she
Um,
kind of just was suggesting that we stay away from that, but. For the case at
to have
hand
the people
here,
that want to be involved with the DDA be on the committee.
and I
And
just,
and then they're basically
But I will go back,
part of the DDA.
so what we're facing right now is that we need to change this on this then,
then I think we need to change our bylaws.
is this
Our bylaws say the same thing as that.
50%?
It says majority, but majority to me is
Right.
50%.
Which I feel like one conversation we did have was if we couldn't fill the board with
Yeah.
people that lived or owned in the DDA, that we would at that time then consider, right? Was that
Yes,
what I remember?
that's kind of what the conversation. I don't think it
So
was, like,
then you're
voted
getting,
on, but-
then you're getting very much into, well, I don't want them, I don't want him involved, so I'm gonna tell him he's
That
outside.
might
the-
be, I feel like the case if you didn't have a.
I'm just
board of
saying, if
people.
you're doing that, then you're picking and
Coming
choosing.
when I think he actually should. And that's where.
That's-
I actually do probably
Well,
pretty much
no-
more than any person in here that has not been to a music in the park. Summerfest. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't even, I feel like I'm being totally taken out of it.
Yeah.
Well, see,
And I do stuff for sports boosters. I've done so much more in this community
I
and
don't,
brought in sponsorships.
I don't think.
But I feel like
we were
I'm
saying
being-
it was
I'm being
just
taken
a
out.
fact Of whether you could actually be
And
on it,
this-
that was what.
He was denied.
I've been
Well,
denied, I've been denied like 3 or 4 times now.
okay, I wasn't,
Sorry, welcome to being the,
I wasn't here. But also, like, you have to remember, this is a committee, not like me or one person who disagrees,
But I'm
like,
just saying,
a
I'm
committee
saying,
decides. So
I'm
if,
saying,
if
I'm on
someone
the
voted
OPCA,
not to let you
and we
on,
do more in this community than we have.
no, he was not.
I
He was
don't
told-
know.
He was told he couldn't be on because everybody on this committee has to be.
Yes.
So there was
Wasn't-
no.
was no
Business
vote.
owner or.
Okay, so
There's no
let's
vote.
think about that, let's just talk about this for a second, just to keep it
Mhm.
organized and clear.
Mhm.
It's a simple question. Do you want to consider people who are not living, owning, whatever I'll say, but
Mhm.
cover it? Do you
Yes.
want to consider those people?
Yes, we should.
Okay, so
I think so.
we could
I
vote
think
on
we
it.
need to look, like, I'm not prepared. I don't have the
No,
bylaws in front
I'm
of
just
me.
saying,
Yeah.
how do we wanna move it ahead? And I think if people want to investigate this, you start with bylaws, which I thought we were already looking for,
Which we
And
did.
found.
It's very vague in the
and
state.
it's very vague.
So
So,
bylaws are.
and we know what the
Very
state said,
Cause we
so,
gotta make sure the funding comes from the state. We can't break their rules.
you're right.
Yes.
Right.
So here's my thought, because we could sit here and ping pong this thing all night. Does anyone wanna make a motion to discuss that? What we want,
So,
does anyone wanna make a motion so that we can take this further? Is this something that casually, without voting, everyone wants to discuss? Do we wanna discuss exactly how this is going to work? Knowing
I
that the
think we need
state
to figure
is
that,
saying,
yes.
if you have
Yes.
6
I
people
think
on your.
it's very vague and you hurt
Okay.
people's feelings when you say, no, you can't.
People wanna join.
And people want to
That's
join.
not possible.
And-
The other thought process is that. Another thing she said was, those people, some of them, not all of them, maybe not you specifically, I'm saying this very. May. Enjoy chairing committees more than being part of this.
So I think the bylaws do say that the chairman has to be somebody in the DDA.
Not for the Main Street, the Main Street,
Main
you're-
Street, but Main Street has nothing to do
What
with.
I'm
the
saying is-
DDA.
but it kind of does in how we're
Does.
moving forward, so this. I understand it's a different
Yeah,
locality, well, all that I'm saying is, her suggestion was if you have one.
Mhm.
On your DDA, fine. You set your number, don't have it more than the majority. I get why she was saying that, but what she was also saying is. Can we garner more support by having people that don't wanna be part of what just happened here? Do you want anger and hurt feelings and things, or do you want to organize things and be part of a change? Volunteer. That was the mindset behind this conversation that everyone was invited to, was. You have to ask yourself as DDA members, what you want your appointment criteria to be. And then also remember, if you're putting all of your creative people, all your city's creative minds and one board, and then you try to create committees. You end up in the same problem we just discussed. So I'm not saying that specifically for you, you are a huge asset. Gail is a huge asset, but then how does the DDA want it to look? And I have no preference. We've talked about this before, how there's tons of people who don't own, who don't live here, that want to be part of it. So my simple question is, do we want to discuss this further? Do we want to discuss, want to get the bylaws out, everybody, we look at it in a meeting?
I think we need to.
Because I don't think,
Right now, I'm gonna disagree with Kim, and it's just a valid disagreement. She thinks it's vague. I don't think it's vague.
but
I think hey, let me finish. I think the bylaws say a majority of the folks have to be in the DDA or live in the DDA.
and I,
If this says 50%, those to me are the same thing. It ain't vague at all. It's pretty clear that half the people on the DDA need to live in the DDA or work in the DDA or own a business, and the other half don't.
Okay.
And I think we need to get that very clear and very, and frankly, I don't care, right? I don't have a, sorry, Ed, I don't really care if we let people that don't live it. We just need to decide,
that's what I'm
because
saying.
otherwise it becomes, well,
Yeah.
I don't want them, so I'm gonna use the rule this.
We've definitely heard how not having a solid bylaws is hurting people in the community and possibly participation in DDA.
And there was nothing personal. It was, we were trying to.
No, I just mean like
It was very, I
personal,
think it was vague because it says majority. So,
Right.
okay, does that mean the 9, 9 to 12? Does that mean 9 need to be and 12 don't have to, or?
Majority.
So I'm gonna make a motion so we can
It's okay
stop.
we disagree.
John,
So
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna make,
It's
Yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah, yeah.
so
Let's
I'm making a
make
motion that we bring the bylaws and have a discussion about the content of the bylaws and make a decision about whether we change it. And I need to know the rules around, can we change the bylaws?
Well, we just did. I mean, we approved them,
Okay.
so we can do
So-
that anytime.
We need
I
to
think
look
we
at
need
it
to have a
first.
discussion around it and a decision about the writing of it.
I agree.
And either to leave it in, but make it more definitive, like whatever the outcome is. I'm just making a motion that we are prepared with the bylaws in front of us.
I'll support for reason of discussion, John.
There's the DDA is created by the state law. And there's rules on this exact thing.
And
So-
that, yes,
We should have that when we talk about. it.
Yeah. And I think, the factors are the state, the recommendations of the match of the Main Street.
portion.
See.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't mean to
I
interrupt.
think these are all factors in it. I mean, we're talking about embracing Main Street, right?
Mhm.
And so I think we have to have their recommendations as well.
So here's part of my concern with Main Street, and it's always been part of my concern. I think Main Street fits a bigger town than Laingsburg. Much better.
But we're already in the throes.
We've
I don't
already
care. I
decided
don't,
to
I
do
care. I get that. I get that. But when they have rules that say that when they say everybody in the DDA has to be, our downtown district is a lot smaller than everybody else. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, but we have a cabin up in Everett. They looked at Main Street, they rejected it for that exact reason. Because they're twice as big, 3 times as big as Laingsburg is. So I think that we're being much more restrictive if we're following them.
Well,
But I don't-
Well, we're
They have
either gonna
any rules.
embrace them or we're not.
I get it.
But
But
they
I
don't
don't-
have, they don't have rules.
I think there's.
But I-
They just have suggestions.
But now we just.
Yeah, okay.
They have
Right, they have
suggestions.
suggestions.
They don't
Yeah,
have rules.
They don't have rules.
The hierarchy of it, and I think Michigan trumps Main Street. I
Yeah.
would say in any other kind of profession, there's a one that you have to adhere to, and I think Michigan, based on our size, is the one you're gonna have.
Can we agree at this point that we've discussed all we can on it for
Mhm.
now?
Yes.
And that we 100% needed to be
Yep.
a
Let's
hot
talk about it.
topic and prepared, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a
tabled,
motion in support. Everyone in favor?
Yes,
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
no.
Thank you. So then we're going to table this application.
Yes.
Okay. Are we gonna? We don't need to vote, whatever, keep there, anyone. Okay,
You okay with that, Don? We're gonna table your application till we have the other discussion. And talk about it next time. Okay?
sorry, Donna.
Sorry.
I feel like maybe we have some questions
I
to
mean,
be answered.
She fits the criteria,
Okay,
no matter what, but.
Category.
any old business? All right, make a motion to adjourn at 7:19 PM.
I agree.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's just. Yeah, but then I get the bill. Yeah, I was like,
Being in there.
oh.
It's just gonna narrow it down.
Monday.
Aaron, man.
Tuesday would be good.
Today I wanted, Dave, I went out, we did hay.
Did hay?
Yes, I had
So
to.
swear that it was, it's like the worst state of the constitution of the state, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of downtown development authority member in and for the city of Laingsburg. I was in the state of Michigan, that's my ability. It's
Okay.
July 29th, I lost check.
I Donald Trump, I do.
No, you'll be able to pick it up.
Okay,
Rick has to sign it.
Okay,
Yeah,
you'll give me a-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. Next to the hardware store. When you cross on the.
You wanna ride?
Yeah, well, there's several monies for that, right?
Right.
And, so.
Probably.
right, I'm out.
DPW,
He's becoming. Okay.
which would be, when's the DPW meeting?
Before this one?
Yeah, dismiss it, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
see,
hang on,